Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Emily Feagins, the Public Information Officer for Marion County. The video you are about to view is just one part of a multi-part series that I have put together in collaboration with the Marion County Board of Supervisors, the publicly elected officials of Marion County, as well as the department heads of the non-elected offices of the Marion County government. This series of videos is designed to provide you, the taxpayer, with information on how the Marion County government utilizes your tax dollars to provide the many services that are available. Thank you again for joining us, and please watch the channel for future videos. Welcome back. I'm Marion County Public Information Officer Emily Feagins.
I'm Mark Raymie, Chairman of the Marion County Board of Supervisors.
As the end of April is nearing very quickly, we wanted to do a brief update on some of the Board of Supervisor meetings that have happened this month and touch on some particularly interesting facts for the citizens of Marion County to know if you're not able to join in on those Board of Supervisor meetings. So I've asked Mark here to talk a little bit about those. So one big one I wanted to touch on is we made April Child Abuse Prevention Month here in Marion County.
That's right, Emily. We, along with several other counties, I don't know what the number is now, but at the time there were around 30.
Okay, I think we're up over 50 now, of 99.
Up over 50 counties that have joined with the governor to make a proclamation about Child Abuse Prevention Month. And so the Board of Supervisors agreed with that, voted to approve that proclamation, so that was one of our actions this month.
Yes, that's a very good one. We did a little bit of discussion and action for a special event permit. So what was that for? Yeah,
we have our annual Girls Night Out here in Knoxville, sponsored by Knoxville Hospital and Clinics, and so we approved that special event permit. I think that event is coming up here sometime in April. Actually, it's October.
Yeah. Yep. So it's a little ways away, but that went ahead and approved that.
Yeah. So
that happens on the courthouse grounds.
That courthouse is a part of that.
Okay.
And then there'll be probably other event sites around the city. So we wanted to make folks aware we did that as well.
I think that brings in quite a bit of traffic too, if I remember from the years past.
It's a pretty big event, and they do such a great job putting that event on.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have a rezoning that Missy did a lot of work on.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this rezoning.
Yeah, all related to CJ Auto Salvage.
Okay.
East of town, just a little bit east of our location here. But we've been working on a rezoning to have a portion of that be heavy industrial. And so the board finished that this past week in our last meeting of the month, where after looking at neighbors and issues related to the business, we came to, and the neighbors really in the business did a great job working with Missy on coming to a reasonable conclusion to that. So the board was able to approve that rezoning.
There was lots of discussion, lots of concerns. Everybody was able to voice their concerns, their discussion items, and I feel like that did go very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Missy did a great job handling that. We don't give shout outs very often to county employees when they do things like this behind the scenes, but Missy and Ed and his staff and working with the Board of Supervisors, just a great job in putting that all together.
They did. So we have a Travis Trust funding request. What is that?
Yeah, we had a request from Mike Roberts and the Knoxville Senior Center for a disbursement of funds from the Travis Trust. Now, for our residents, this trust has been in effect since the late 80s, and the Board of Supervisors was made the trustee of the initial dollars that were put into that trust. We had about $153,000 left, but it's been sitting there since 1987. It's not invested because as a county we're pretty limited on what we can invest money in. So as you know, with inflation, it's just continued to erode in value over time. During COVID, the Board of Supervisors did authorize an emergency disbursement for the Knoxville Senior Center to cover some of their costs and things related to COVID. That it was impacting everybody and every business. But we reached an agreement with the Senior Center to disperse $30,000. We're going to review that on an annual basis from here on out to see if we can make continued disbursements from the Travis Trust, but it's to support their operations. The trust was established for the benefit of Knoxville seniors, and there's an age requirement within the trust and those things in the Knoxville Senior Center does a great job getting meals within the city of Knoxville. So this money will help support that effort.
And so there are those guidelines that people have to meet in order to receive that amount of money.
Right. Well, and from trust perspective, that's really between us and the senior center, and then the senior center will work to incorporate that within their business and how they address both the social community aspect and the food distribution aspect.
Okay, well, nifty.
Yeah.
So to round out our Board of Supervisors meetings, we approved some ARPA funds to go to some special projects.
Right.
So let's talk about a few of those. We have 2 that came up this month.
Yeah, we had, so far the board has received about half of the money that was allocated to Marion County. I think Jake told me that the rest will be arriving soon.
Yep.
So that's going to be roughly about $6 million. We allocated some dollars to take care of emergency management and a request for radios. So it was emergency management and public health.
Yep.
So we're going to upgrade the radio equipment that they have. It's important, as I think those radios were almost a decade old,
yes,
if not older.
Yes.
So with technology and all the changes related to that, we needed to upgrade those pieces of equipment. The other thing, we needed to put in some new cameras at the LEC. So we're going to an additional upgrade to the security system at the LEC by updating the camera systems there, and Chris and Jason and his staff will work on that. So those are some additional allocations that we made with ARPA money.
Yeah.
And that has no impact on our tax dollars that we receive.
And those will be very important to everybody in the county.
As much as, you can have your issues with stimulus.
Yes.
And what stimulus dollars mean, and we all know that right now we're dealing with inflation in part because of all those stimulus dollars. But the money is there, and we have been able to do a significant number of upgrades to our properties that serve our residents. So whether it's law enforcement center, public health, or the courthouse, we've taken those dollars and utilized them to be able to do those upgrades, whether that's in parking lots or new heating and cooling systems.
Things that have needed
done for years,
yeah,
and that we just haven't been able to get to. So fortunately, we're able to leverage those dollars in that way.
Yes, and hopefully our goal is to kind of get into the law enforcement center, to the jail side of it, and give you a little bit of a sneak preview if you've never been in there. Give you a little bit of a sneak preview as to what that looks like on the inside and kind of some of these upgrades that we're going to be doing. So that kind of rounds out our Board of Supervisor meetings. So I know there was some news that came out yesterday from the U.S. Homeland National Security.
Yeah, U.S. Homeland Security Office yesterday. So next week, Emily and I will try to do these monthly updates and give you a flavor for what happened in the Board of Supervisor meeting. If there's anything that we need to summarize, significant actions, if you couldn't make, and I know the recordings are long, our meetings tend to run, sometimes they can be short, but sometimes they can run an hour, hour and a half, so it's hard to listen to the whole thing. So we want to give you a quick summary of the major events of the month. But next week, I'd like to put together a real short video talking about freedom of speech. All of our elected officials take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. Take the same oath at the state level, the same oath at the national level. There has been something that's come out over the last several days that's frankly very disturbing to me as someone who took that oath, as I think it would be to all of our elected officials and our residents, because the First Amendment is for you. It's we the people. It's our amendment to protect our ability to speak freely. What's going on within Homeland Security and this new Office of Disinformation Oversight, or whatever that is, we'll get into more detail next week as I do some research on it over the weekend.
Okay. But
we'll put together a video next week, Emily, and talk to people about that, and really just talk about what freedom of speech is, and that of all of our freedoms, that's the most important one, because it allows us to be able to exchange information freely. It allows us to criticize our government without fear of retribution. At least that's what it's supposed to do. It allows us to exchange ideas and get new information that we may not have had from each other. And it's really critical to be able to do that, and it's so linked to the freedom of conscience When you talk about freedom of religion, the ability to believe and worship the way that you see fit. Those are critical rights and freedoms in our Constitution, and there are some things going on we need to make you aware of. I don't think they're casual changes. I think they're things we have to pay attention to. Not get too, from the, we don't certainly want to cry wolf, but at the same time, be aware. Be aware that there's a change going on. You all know this if you're listening to any of the information that's coming across any of the news sources, but we'll try to provide our perspective on it.
Those were some very powerful words in that statement that you just had.
Well, thank you.
Stay tuned for next week. Thank you as always, Mark, and we'll see you later.
All right, thank you.